Young athletes with big stories. These sports stories are here to motivate, equip, and enlighten the next generation. You're listening to an Echo Sports production. Here's your host.
Hey everybody, Edwin Glosson here from the Echo Sports Girls High School Hoops podcast. Thank you so much for joining us with this episode, and we've got a special treat for you today. We've got the head coach of St. Mary's University, Lady Rattlers, Coach Valerie Huizar, here with us today. She's a graduate of O'Connor High School in San Antonio, Texas, went on to play at LSU Shreveport. She's been a head coach at the NAIA level. She's been an assistant coach, an associate head coach at the D1 level, NAIA, JUCO level. She's done just about it all. So I'm really excited to talk with her today and learn her, and share her story, as well as have her share so much that she's learned along the way through her coaching journey. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for asking.
So, right now, what's going on with you guys and your team, right, Coach? You're going into your third season. What's going on right now, today, this week with the Lady Rattlers?
Right now, we're just practicing. Lots of good team practice. We started, I want to say, October 4th with our team practices, and just putting in a lot of stuff. We have so many new players, so I tell them you're going to have to unlearn a lot and then just try and learn what we do here. And they've done a great job of that. So it's been fun.
Coach, one of the things that I when I was, learning about you as we were getting ready for this podcast that I thought was really cool is we have something in common. I played at Middle and Junior College. I had no idea that you were a JUCO athlete yourself, playing at Lon Morris, where you had, a really nice career. I'm just curious, what was the JUCO experience like for you?
Oh boy, we need a whole hour on that. The funny part is I see my JUCO coach a lot, Coach Floyd at the time, but Coach Rosalind Tyndall's associate head coach at UT Arlington. She was my head coach, so I always give her a really hard time of just the JUCO life, right? I mean, just the crazy practices, the 4-hour practice, the conditioning. I say it jokingly, but it's kind of true. If I'd have done any of the stuff to my girls that I went through, I'd probably get fired in a heartbeat just because it's different. I call it JUCO tough. And so I like recruiting JUCO players because it's different. It's a league of its own in many ways other than just the fact that it's a 2-year. But I loved my experience there. I really did. I look back and I'm proud. I'm really proud of being from Lon Morris. Unfortunately, it shut down, but I'm proud of just making it through those Coach Floyd practices and being able to look back and just talk about it with my girls and just tell them things that I had done, and they get a little wide-eyed, and I'm like, don't worry, y'all won't do that here. But a variation of it, they will.
Oh yeah, no, I remember at Midland Junior College. It was like I think we had one practice where it was maybe like a Friday night that we might have done some things that we weren't young 18, 19, 20-year-old men do, right?
Oh yeah,
and we just get in, we're dressed up, and we're about to go through our stretches, and Coach just puts he's kind of walking around not talking to anybody, puts a trash can on one baseline. We're like, what's going on? Then he goes and puts another trash can on another baseline. And we're like. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got the trash can treatment as well.
Yeah. JUCO practice, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, shifting gears to, your time at LSU Shreveport, you transferred from Lon Morris to LSU Shreveport, where you were an honorable mention All-American, again, very successful as a player. Just curious, what was the jump like? Because I did not play beyond junior college, but I'm just curious, from JUCO to NAIA, what was the biggest jump from you as a player, like on the court?
On the court, it was just learning a new system, right? You got to learn a new coach in the middle of your college career. You got to learn a new system in the middle of your college career. But, I mean, when you have a pretty good IQ, I had a high IQ for the game as a player, so that part was fine. It was all the things outside of basketball that was probably more of a adjustment period, I would say, for me. When you're a JUCO, and this isn't everyone, but we all lived on the same hall, like literally the same hallway for 2 years. And I thought that's kind of what life is, but that's not real world stuff, right? So you go to the 4-year and you got maybe some people have a house, some teammates live in these apartments. I lived in these apartments. So, you learn how to make time for team, but you also learn how to be independent and learn how to handle your business more. And not everyone is overlooking over your shoulder. So it helped me grow up and get a little more prepared for real world after basketball.
Are you a fan of Cajun food?
Huge fan. Oh, I miss it. I miss it so much.
I've never been to Shreveport. I mean, just fun fact about Edwin, I've been to New Orleans, never been to Shreveport. But
Okay.
I'm sure with, your experience, being an associate head coach too, in the state, that you probably had to develop a great, love for for Cajun food and Creole food and all those yummy things, right?
Oh, absolutely. My teammates would bring home gumbos that their grannies or mamas made, and I tore it up. It was good. It was fun.
So, question when it comes to like, the NAIA level, or actually, no, just shifting gears. I'm just curious, when did you decide you wanted to coach?
I don't know that there's like this pinpoint time in my upbringing, but I just knew I always wanted to be around the game. I guess it happened in high school when I knew, you got to go to college and got to have a career after. Well, I just love basketball so dang much. This is the next best thing to playing. So I guess I would say in high school is when I knew I wanted to coach.
Got you. Yeah, mine was like, I remember I called my mom after my freshman year, and like when I got to college, and I was like, I think I want to coach. She's like, no, you don't. No, you're not doing that. She was an educator. She was a counselor at San Antonio Junior College, still there.
Okay, okay.
You're going into her 47th year there. Shout out to my mom for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good.
it's pretty
That's
cool.
good.
But that was my experience, and I just I kind of did some other things, but eventually got into
Okay.
high school coaching and club coaching, and so it's a calling, right? It's not so much it just kind of calls you,
It does.
helping
It,
young
it
people
really
like
does.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
when you are, you played at LSU Shreveport, then you went back after being an assistant at the JUCO level, which definitely want to talk about that, and
Mm-hmm.
also coached at your alma mater, where you led them to a national tournament berth, national tournament berth. I'm just curious, what do you feel that you like when you found as a player and as a coach, some of the biggest misconceptions about the NAIA level that you feel like that's just not true? Like some of the things you may have heard about small college basketball, you're like, no, 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 that's just not true. I'm just curious.
Oh my gosh, people have it so misconstrued. It's great basketball. It just when I played, there were a lot of teams that are currently D2 teams, but when I played they were NAIA teams. I mean, I played against players that got on WNBA contracts and I guess people don't think it's good basketball or that good players go there, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Um, when I was at LSUS, we were close to beating D1 games in those exhibitions, and I've been part of beating Division Ones as an NAIA school as a coach, and it's such good basketball. There's some really good coaches, and I mean, I'll tell you right now, you can call coaches up and pinpoint certain NAIA schools. They won't put them on the schedule. They're just too good, and I loved it, and I can't stand when people even have a slight negative connotation about the game because there's some great people. I mean, my teammates are now doctors, lawyers. I have some teachers that are teammates. I mean, it's great education no matter where you go. It's a good degree, and the basketball is phenomenal. Yeah, I don't know where that even comes from, but it's great basketball.
That's great to hear because deal with so many athletes that were like, yeah, man, congratulations, you got that offer. Yeah, but it's only an NAI. You're like, what? Are you kidding me? That's fantastic. Regardless of what level, the fact that a school's interested in you and chose you to be a part of their program, that's such the blessing and an accomplishment, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I've always said this though. I've always said there's no such thing as a Division 1 human being. There's no D2 people or NAI. You're an NAI person. That doesn't happen in the real world. So I don't know why we think anyone's better than others just because they had played at a certain level. I mean, that doesn't happen in the real world. So it's just basketball. If you have an opportunity to play, even if it's D3 and it's just an academic scholarship, because NAIs can give athletics full rides, but it's an opportunity to be part of a team and learn so many good things that To think one's better than the other, my brain can't compute that.
I completely agree with that. Now, the fact that you got to coach at your alma mater, what was that like? I mean, the sense of pride that you went to the national tournament as a player, but you also helped lead that team as a coach to the national tournament as well. Just talk about what that was like.
It was just an amazing experience. You don't think about it in the moment. And now I look back and I think, wow, that was an amazing blessing, right? Just having worn the jersey, and then now you're a coach, seeing people with that jersey you wore. And again, it might be a disadvantage to the players because I have such high expectations for them. I'm like, don't you dare disrespect, what we were fortunate to build there. So I thought it was a great opportunity. I mean, it's rare, and I didn't realize how rare it was at the time. I was just a young ding-dong head coach trying to win, but I look back, and it's just an amazing blessing to be able to say you played and coached for your university. It's pretty cool.
That says a lot about you, that you left such a positive, fingerprint on that university as a player, that they wanted to bring you back as a coach. Now, I did some research on the NAIA national tournament. I was trying to figure it out. I know that instead of regions, they have quadrants. But if you could do me a favor, could you just give the viewers here, give us just a rundown of how you get an automatic bid, or how does that work to get to the national tournament from the NAIA season?
You asked, it's changed since I've played, but it has gotten a little similar to the NCAA model as far as, like you said, it used to just be the top 32 teams go, and it's like a 8-day gauntlet of a national tournament. But
how about this? Let's hear about what it was like when you played, or when you coached. I'd love to hear about the 32 team tournament.
Oh, it was unbelievable. All 32 teams went. When I played, we were at Jackson, Tennessee. And I mean, you just get seeded, and, number one plays 32 and so on. And we didn't make it deep into the tournament. But if you want to be a national champion, you got to win. I want to say it's maybe, I don't know, 5 games in 8 days or something like that. It's just a gauntlet. And the best part is everyone sees everybody. So I remember even as a kid or as a player, a team would go get food or go rest at the hotel, and I would beg my coach, can I just stay and watch? And just seeing teams play, I mean, again, you see girls almost dunking in layup lines, and it's like, oh, that's amazing. So I think it's really cool that you get to see teams play. And even nowadays, they do have, like you were saying, quadrants or regionals. Teams get to see each other play, but they're still an at-large process, so you got to be, every game matters in preseason and conference. And then, of course, you have your at-large or your auto bids from the tournament champions. So it's starting to become a little similar as far as the NCAA model. But, yeah, when I played, top 32 go, and then you battle it out.
Understood. Then you went on to be an assistant at again, alma mater, right, where you attended Lawnmowers, correct? Or before that, you were an assistant at the JUCO level, correct?
Right. My first year was an assistant at Tyler Junior College,
There you go,
actually.
Tyler. Yeah, that's it. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I just think this is all a God thing, because that couldn't have been the best position to start my coaching career under Trina Horde. She's a Hall of Famer in every sense of the word. She played under Gary Blair at SFA. She coached at Arkansas when they went to the Final Four. And I'm forever indebted to her to hire a young college kid with zero experience to come be her assistant at Tyler Junior College. And I wish I wrote down more things when I was younger about instances and what I did, what I should have done, what Coach T said in all of these moments. But I talk to her every single year we talk. I see her. She still will make a game if we play at Tyler. I, of course, recruit her players, but she's a national champion. She's better than that, just one of the best human beings. And working there, even for 1 year, it completely catapulted me into my career, because all the coaches in the country recruit her players. And that allowed me to network and meet other coaches and honestly get my name out there. I didn't realize that's what was happening, but it was just the best experience. I honestly just thank God. I don't think I would be here if I hadn't started my career there.
Now, at the JUCO level, were you involved in recruiting as an assistant?
Oh yeah, when you're an assistant at the JUCO level, you do everything. I heard a guy, I can't remember who said this, but I listened to a lot of podcasts. He says it should be a prerequisite for all coaches to coach at the JUCO level at least 1 year. And I couldn't agree more. But absolutely, I was heavily involved in the recruiting process. Yeah.
So I would like to hear your reasons, some of your reasons, because that why you believe that. I think, I mean, I think I definitely can see why, seeing what everything that my assistants, the assistants that I had when I was playing did for the program, looking back that you didn't realize when you were in it. But just curious, what do you think, what are some of the biggest lessons that you learned from your experience of coaching at the JUCO level that helped, you become the head coach that you are today?
You actually get to coach, and you get to coach all the things. You get to coach academics and oversee that and oversee study hall. You get to help with all of the travel, all of the planning. You get to help with preseason conditioning. You get to help with equipment types of decisions. You get to help with the recruiting, where you go. You get to help with budget. And I know that can sound like a lot, and it can sound like it's just too much, and you don't get paid a lot, I mean, it really humbles you. It really forces you to want it. And it forces you to just develop this like hardened callous to hard work. It just becomes you. And that's why I think it was just so great for me. And then it's funny, the steps I've taken since then, I'm like, this is all we do. So I think it was a great thing.
That's good stuff. Those are some nuggets right there. Now, when it comes to recruiting, for any of parents or athletes that may be listening to this right now, when did you start to, when as a staff, start to really identify JUCO, JUCO prospects? Is it something where it's, sophomore, junior? Is it, hey, more late in the game, like 17 senior year, into their high school season, into the club season? Just kind of trying to give some information to some parents or players that are, hey, looking for different options to play at the next level.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we would definitely wait. We don't talk or call or text freshmen and sophomores, not when we're coaching at the JUCO level. And we identify just the same, like you have to be skilled. At least in Region 14, Region 5, those are the two JUCO regions. I mean, there's an excellent JUCO region in Florida and the Midwest Kansas area. I mean, there are some high level players that end up going JUCO first for whatever reason. But I would just say the difference is the timing, right? So if there's players that are unsigned in November, that's okay. Play your tail off, be a good teammate, put numbers up, and you will be found. JUCO coaches are always going to have several scholarships available in the spring. And that's how I got to Lon Morris. I didn't go to Lon Morris until July after my senior year. Because when I played back in the day, there wasn't, high school seniors still played AAU. The kids didn't rush off to their college and do summer workouts. So I was playing with teammates that already had a D1 scholarship. But I was just playing to try and find something. And again, by God's timing, I ended up fortunately playing well in the summer game, in a club game, and Coach found me, Coach Floyd, or Tyndall now. So, and that's the thing, they're full rides. And then if they're not a full ride, it's so unbelievably inexpensive. I just think that's a great route to go for kids who are unsigned in November of their senior year. That's okay. And there's opportunities everywhere. You just got to be willing to go.
My opportunity didn't come to me until May of my senior year, so I hear what you're saying about that. It's a little nerve-wracking when you're a senior and you're like, whoa. Mm-hmm. We're sending out graduation invitations, and I don't know where I'm going. But you still got a chance, right? You still got a chance to.
Absolutely, you do.
Now, moving forward into your coaching journey, your second head coaching opportunity, your Division I coaching opportunity, where you were an associate head coach at Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. I'm just curious. I've always wondered this. I've never had a chance to talk to an associate head coach, but what is the difference between an associate head coach and an assistant coach? I know it probably differs from staff to staff, but with your experience, what were your how were they different? I'm just curious.
That's a great question. But you're right. I'll preface this with it's very different from staff to staff. From my experience, I'll just say this, it was 100% earned. It had to be, it's something that, and I talk to my girls about this, like, that know your worth conversation, that fight for what you believe in conversation. So having been there a few years and been given more and more responsibilities as the years go on, it was just something that I wanted to, I felt the title meant more. And so just after discussion and after the work and after the proof in the pudding, like Coach Bradhead was like, yeah, you've earned this. And so as far as responsibilities, did things change? No, they didn't. I was very fortunate that he delegated the entire offense to me before that title. So it was really more of you earned that notoriety because you have already been doing the work. And so, yeah, I mean, it looks good. You really are you're overseeing something big, at least in this case. So yeah, I was essentially head coach of the offense, right? He would do like a offensive coordinator, defense coordinator. So that's how it was at UL. And I've asked that question to a bunch of friends when they got the title. And at the time, I'm like, what does that mean? I didn't know. That was my only D1 stop. So some, they say, not much. I've been there and I've earned that title. But yeah, for me, it was like a lot of responsibilities were already been given. So it was one of those where it's like, let's talk about this. I would love for this to be on my resume because the work is already being put in.
Absolutely.
So it was just, it just looks good for resume building, if I'm just being honest.
Yep. Understood. So now here at St. Mary's into year 3, how would you describe your brand or the St. Mary's Lady Rattler brand of basketball? How would you describe that?
I would just say we play so freaking hard, and that's our brand. We play hard, and we do it the right way in terms of we're not little jerks on the court. Our bench is always going to be positive, and we're always going to be consistent with that no matter what the scoreboard says. So essentially, it's not necessarily a system of we press or we play 5 out and shoot threes or we're dribble drive. That stuff is ever changing. But if you want to put something as a brand, it's just that we play so dang hard and we respect the game, and it shows. I've been so fortunate to be around good people. And I mean, referees have said they've noticed that, and other coaches in the league have said they noticed that. Heck, other parents of the opponent have reached out and said they noticed that. So I really appreciate that. At least that's just certainly been established from day one, is how hard we play. I always say, don't look up and then don't look down when you make mistakes. Just look forward and keep playing hard.
One of the things, I've got to compliment. I think that you're one of the hardest workers in the business. You're so visible. I see you everywhere. If there's a fall league game or wherever you can be based on when you guys are allowed to come out, you're out there, looking at players, looking for the next Lady Rattler. And because I see you everywhere, I've always wondered, what is she looking for? I'm just curious, like, what is the ideal Lady Rattler recruit? Like the type of kids that catch your eye from a tangible and intangible standpoint, just kind of trying to help those parents, those club coaches, those high school players learn about, hey, here's an option here. What is it that you look for in an athlete?
Sure. I mean, I'll go basketball stuff first. I mean, I love IQ. I love when players can feel the game. They know where their teammates are gonna be. They can feel if a trap's coming and they get rid of the ball. They make an easy pass. It's ironic. That's the hardest thing for players to do nowadays, is make an easy pass. They want to drive, tween, kick for a three when they really could have just swung it and then their teammate could have swung it into the post. There are players that still get that. So I look for that. Are players just doing the easy things out there on the court? And then, of course, how coachable are they? I mean, so many young people, and I don't know the solution to this, but they let one mistake just absolutely beat them down mentally. And I'm like, screw it. Like, there's so many plays. Like, just play through it. I wish they had a little bit more get over it. I have a different phrase, but I'm not going to say it here on this family podcast, but just forget about it, and move on. And so I look for kids that have that in their system. Are they able to just move on if they make a mistake into the next play? And then, of course, I am recruiting the entirety of the kids. So I ask the coach, the high school coach, how are they in practice? Because a lot of times the kids we're recruiting are usually the best player on their team. So are they a jerk? Are they half speed because their teammates aren't as good? And I go by what they say. Are they still hardworking in practice? Because you have to be. Like, you're going to be amongst the best. So you better work hard. But when you're at your high school and you're probably the only good one sometimes, one or two, are you still a good person? Do you still work hard? Do you still help your teammate that doesn't know how to do a three-man weave? Are they still able to lead in those instances? And then being transparent here, I absolutely ask about the parents, because I wish so many, God thing, I'm so grateful for mine, that they didn't care who it was who tore into my behind. They're just like, yeah, she deserved that. There was never any like, why are you, oh, my kid? There was none of that ever. And so never. And I'm wired a certain way because of it. And so many kids think they're entitled to things. And I do think it comes from parents. So I do look into the stands, see if they're yelling certain things. And that's going to hurt them in recruiting. At least for me, there's so many good players in the world that I don't have to look the other way if there's a negative thing about a kid. There's going to be a kid just as good as them, if not better, that doesn't have a bad attitude or doesn't have parents that are helicopter over them in their playing time. And it's a lot. I know it's a lot. It's a long answer, but it's the truth. And that's why I am out a lot. I need to see kids over and over before I make a decision. I'm not trigger happy with offers. I just don't need to do that here. I don't think anyone should play that game, but at least I won't. I usually wait until I'm fully committed all in on a kid to throw out an offer to him.
Wow. So let's just, because I thought you dropped
Sorry,
a ton. No, it was great. It was so many nuggets there. But like, first of all, mistake response. How do you respond to a mistake that you make in a game? Something that regardless of how great of a game an athlete can have, if you could see an athlete who obviously has a skill set and a feel for the game you like, something that can take them over the edge is simply the fact that they have a next play, quick mistake response, mentality to their game is something that can help you stand out to college coaches.
And not
also
just their mistakes, it's their teammates' mistakes. Like,
Yep,
do they roll their eyes on a teammate? That will get them scratched pretty quick. Because if you act like that to your teammates, there's just something not good in here, that hurts teams. So it's mistake response, not just of your own, it's of your teammates' mistakes.
That's huge too. I appreciate you clarifying that, because that is big. How good of a teammate you are. You're going to be living with this person for the next 4 years. They're going to be living in your locker room. You don't want someone that you have to have constantly counsel about being a good teammate.
Exactly.
So that's huge. Now, but there's something else that you talked about. Have you looked in the stands yourself and just kind of been like, man, who is the person that just will not stop talking to number 26 or whoever? And you can't have that number, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You've marked kids off because of their parents just being out of pocket.
More times than not, and that's what sucks, because it hurts me, because I know it's hurting the kid. It just sucks to see.
And it's unfortunate because, the parents, they mean well, they want it so much, but it just can, you're right. It just can turn somebody off because like you said, there's so many good players and it's globally, right? Across the world things are razor thin in between them. Hey, we can just go find somebody else that fit the total package of what we want. So Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, staying on the high school recruiting level, at the Division II level, do you identify freshmen and sophomores? Are you already looking at 28s and 27s? Are you mainly paying attention to your 26 class and still working on the 25s? I'm just curious at the D2 level with your philosophy, what do you and your staff hone in on?
We're absolutely identifying the 28s, 27s right now, freshmen and sophomores, but we're not calling and texting them because we're just not. That's just not what we do here. And not many D2s, not many do, but we identify and we follow. Because like I said, I want to identify early so I can follow and see them grow, learn their personality. Like it takes time. You can't make mistakes, and when you're part of a team, you can't bring in, and we're not perfect in this by any stretch, but we do our homework here. And so by the time you're a sophomore going into your junior year or a freshman going into a sophomore year, we really want you to come to our elite camp. Our elite camp is an amazing way to that's when we talk to you. That's when we network. That's when we communicate. And I like more in-person conversation anyway. So if the younger ones, freshmen, sophomores, come to our elite camp, that's huge for me. And then when you're a junior, we're definitely talking to maybe a text, or maybe we talk to you through your club and high school coaches just to gauge your interest, right? Because the kids we kind of recruit are typically on the cusp of like a Southland or maybe a WAC type player, and maybe they're getting those phone calls early. So we just let their high school and club coaches, or maybe the parents, if we know them, like, hey, look, we're very interested and we're going to keep watching. By the time the kid's a junior going into their club season after their junior year, that's probably when we might offer a kid after we've seen them complete 3 years of high school, because that's your body of work. And that's when we're pretty convinced that you'd be a great fit here. And again, we don't throw out a wide range of offers hoping to land one. No, if we do offer you after your junior year, we're all in. And if we don't get you, that's okay. But we really, really mean it when we throw out that offer.
And when it comes to, what about the athlete, and just speaking of like maybe the late bloomer or the athlete that really just the light bulb doesn't hit until that junior high school season? Like they're the kid that, hey, I had a good junior high school season. This 17 years really big for me on the club circuit. But before that, my body of work was, hey, solid player, but not, maybe a pencil down, but not like, hey, we really need to continue to check on her. What advice would you give that kid that's developing that body of work later on in their high school career?
Oh, sure. Like, just keep working. And that's so hard. I say this even though I'm guilty of it. Like, don't compare yourself to others. That's so hard to tell a kid when their counterparts who they may whooping them up in practice or game. Maybe they played against a kid in a game and won that battle, so to speak. But that kid has offers and this one doesn't. Just, you got your own race. I know it's hard to hear that, but I guarantee you someone's going to find you. And we mess up. I don't see everyone that I wish I could, but sometimes I just, for some reason or another, a kid slipped under the cracks and we missed out. And so you got to keep just playing hard and do the right things. I truly believe God's going to reward you on his timing, not your timing. And so keep being a good teammate, keep playing hard, keep kicking butt, whoever it is. Like, if there's someone that you feel you're better than, don't let that kind of like stew negative thoughts in you. Just let it fuel you to work harder and be a better teammate and be a better player. They will get found. I mean, the internet is way too easy to access now. They're going to get found in due time. I don't know what that is. We have a kid, I'm so happy I got to coach her as an assistant here at St. Mary's, Arija Porter. Played at Roosevelt, very under-recruited. And she shared her story with our elite campers the first year we held camp. And she said that I don't believe she got an offer from St. Mary's until her playoff game of her senior year. And that's when Coach Martin saw her and offered her. And she went on and to do amazing things here at St. Mary's and is playing professional overseas and then became a Globetrotter. Literally trotting the globe all over the place with the Harlem Globetrotters right now. Just that game can do amazing things if you're good to it. It just might be on the timing you want, but it's okay. You'll find a place somewhere.
And then, my last high school question here, I'm just curious, as a head coach yourself, I'm sure you get a ton of emails from coaches and players. Do you prefer highlight tape, full game tape, or a combination when someone sends you, hey, please look at me, or hey, I got a kid for you?
I prefer highlight tape. I just don't have time to watch a game. I don't. The highlight tape, and again, there's layers, there's levels to highlight tape, because if you look kind of average in a highlight tape, I probably won't be asking for game film. And it's not just showing us catch and shoot in a game. Show us coming off a down screen or a stagger screen into a 1-2 pull up from the 3. Show us if you're a post player setting a dang good screen that got your teammate open for a shot. And then maybe another play you roll to the basket, caught and cleaned it up. Show the play before the score. If you can show that you really impact the game in a highlight film, then that shows me you're pretty dang good. Try if the scoreboard says like 86-12. I've seen that before. Like, try and not show the scoreboard, because we'll be able to tell like who you're doing it against. Because I'm sure some have heard the quote, "It's not what you do, it's who you do it against." That matters. So if it's a good team and maybe you lost, that's okay. Just show what you did in that game. But yeah, I prefer highlight tape for sure.
And how long's too long? Anything over 2 minutes, 3 minutes? How long are you going to be willing to watch a kid's highlights?
Probably no longer than 3. I'm honestly, if I'll need to be interested by like 30 seconds to a minute. If I'm interested, then I'll keep watching no longer than 3. But that first 30, it's really got to be like, oh, that was good, let's keep watching, kind of thing.
I've always told kids, so the best plays at the beginning, just a quick recap here, best plays at the beginning.
Yeah.
The first 30 seconds, got to grab that coach's attention, show the play before the play. So if you're a shooter, let's show footwork, not just spot up shooting, but how you're coming off that pin down, how you're shaping up, all those kind of things. Good stuff. Now, we're living in a new age of college basketball. It's not just about, those freshmen and high school recruiting classes. You have the transfer portal. And I'm just curious, like, how has that changed the way that you guys recruit at St. Mary's?
I would say it's changed in the fact that I don't have to BS much long with kids. Like and I never did anyway, but it's really nice. The portal's given me a really good cushion to have to not wait on kids, because if you're a high school kid and I don't, this is just me, I don't call you once a week, I don't ask what you had for dinner, I want to know like who you are as a human being, who your circle is, who you're raised by, and what this game means to you. I want to know what you want to do with this game, how you're going to utilize it for your future. And I'm going to tell you exactly how you can achieve that here, and genuinely mean it. And if we can't do it, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to say this ain't the place for you. However, the portals help me not to have to BS and wait. And it's like, if we don't get this kid, and if they're playing games, and if they fall for the nonsense that some coaches do, gift baskets or like all this, like, you're the best thing since sliced bread. You're not. A big phrase in our program is like, get over yourself. And so the portals allowed me to not worry about it anymore, where if we don't get a kid because they fall for the, this coach thinks I'm amazing and nah. I go there. They're going to end up in the portal and come back to us anyway. So it allows me to not have to worry about the nonsense of recruiting, which is great. So again, high school kids, if you find that place, you feel it in your heart, like you should probably commit to it and don't fall for the BS, you know? Like, is that coach being real with me or is she stroking my ego? If a kid likes that, they're not going to come play for me because I don't do that, and that's okay. And then a kid might go somewhere and realize, dang, this isn't what I wanted. I want to be coached hard. I want to be told the truth. I want to get a really good degree. They can come here, and I don't take things personally either. I'm not a coach that, oh, you didn't choose us. I'm not, you're done. You're dead to me. No. Everyone's human. We all make decisions and live with the consequences of those decisions. So I'm not a grudge holder by any stretch. And that's what it's done for me in high school recruiting. I'm like, okay, bye. And then spring comes, the portal hits, and then, there's kids that we've had previous relationships with, and we go from there. But yeah, it's changed the game. You're absolutely right. It's changed the game.
Shifting gears to this year's squad, heading into year 3, last year had some injuries that kind of affected the way you guys did things. How do you feel about where you are right now with your squad, with heading into the season here, weeks away?
I love where we're at. We have 11 new players, and this is, you're right, year 3. I'm excited. I'm having a lot of fun with this group. The thing that hasn't changed is we still play hard, we work hard, and we're good teammates. Now, the talent on paper has leveled up, tenfold. And so we'll see if they mesh well on the court. Playing time hasn't been dispersed. The scoreboard hasn't been shown. There's not a win-loss situation. So we'll see kind of what we're made of in the next few weeks. But as far as where we're at as a program, who they are as people, their skill set's unbelievable. Our shooting ability is great, but we'll see. I really like them, though. They're bringing it every day, which I'm proud of.
Coach, I look forward to heading down there and watching you guys play. And if you're in San Antonio, Texas, go out and support the Lady Rattlers. The Lone Star Conference is not for the faint of heart. You got TWU that just only made it to the national championship game last year. Lubbock Christian and West Texas A&M, just to name a few. If you want to watch some amazing basketball, make sure and go check them out this year. So, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this, and I look forward to watching your team play this season.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Anything to help the next round of kids, man. I appreciate it. So my email's on the website. If anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Championship Productions is the industry leader in instructional videos for athletes and coaches. Whether it was skill development or learning how to more effectively attack his own offense or even performance training, I always felt like I leveled up my coaching game with every addition to my coaching library. So as a thank you for watching our content here at Echo Sports, I have a special offer for you. You can use the coupon code ECHO1010. That's all caps ECHOTEN10 for a 10% discount on all videos at championshipproductions.com. Now, this offer is only good through December 31st, 2024, so make sure to log on to championshipproductions.com to take advantage of this great offer and level up your coaching game today.
Thanks for listening to this podcast. Visit us online at echosports.org for more information.